This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And happening right now, it's election day and the polls are now open in some spots of the Heartland. And Good Morning Heartland is on the go. Samantha Croy is live in Schuyler County this morning with what you need to know before you head out to the polls. Good morning, Samantha.
Thanks, Ella. I'm live at the Schuyler County Courthouse this morning with Schuyler County Clerk Bree Shaw. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Now, polling locations are currently opening as we speak all across the Heartland. What is your job today? And I'm sure you're going to be doing lots of running around.
Absolutely. My main job is to just oversee the election process, make sure that the voters are informed of where they're supposed to vote at, if they're registered to vote, and to make sure they for my election judges and for the voters.
And now, as far as what people need to bring out to the polls, what do they need to make sure that they're able to vote today?
They can bring a driver's license, their voter ID card, or any government-issued ID.
Now, is there anything, what happens if they come out and they don't have that information and maybe it's not at home, they can't find it?
The election judges will contact me, and then I will talk to the voters, see what the process is, and make sure that they really need to go get an ID to show my election judges.
And now, we do have quite a big ballot, not as big as, the primary elections, but there are a few items that are on there. But since there wasn't a primary election for Schuyler County, how were the sheriff candidates selected?
The sheriff candidates are having a special election. The Democrat and Republican committees had to nominate one person to run on the ballot, and so those two were automatically on the ballot, and then there was independents that filed, and then a write-in filed as well.
And we can kind of go into that a little bit later as far as how that all kind of was broken down and worked. But now people aren't sure where to go to their polling locations. Where can they find that?
They can find that on their voter ID card, or they can contact my office and we'll let them know.
And you said that there are 4 locations here in Schuyler County. Where are those?
There's actually 5. There's one here at the courthouse. There's one in Greentop at the City Hall, one at the Queen City Community Building, the Glenwood City Hall, and the Downing City Hall.
All right, well, when we come back, we will talk a little bit about more what's on the ballots and talk more about the sheriff's race. Sound good?
All right, sounds great.
All right, well, things are getting busy here, but Ella will go ahead and send it back to you.
And new this morning, it's election day and the polls are now open and Good Morning Heartland is on the go. Samantha Croy is actually live in Schuyler County this morning with a rundown of what you can expect on the ballot. Good morning, Samantha.
Thanks, Ella. I'm inside the Schuyler County Courthouse with Bree Shaw, who is the Schuyler County Clerk, and things aren't too busy this morning. Are you still doing okay?
Absolutely. It's been a great day so far.
All right. Well, polling locations are now officially open, and earlier we talked a little bit about the sheriff's candidates and how we didn't have a primary election. Now, there are 5 candidates in the running. You want to walk me through the write-in process and how to make sure that if someone's voting for the write-in that it goes in valid?
Okay, whenever somebody files as a write-in candidate, they have to file with my office by 5 o'clock the second Friday preceding election. So the write-in candidate did that. So the write-in candidate right now is Charles Chuck Tallman. And in order for anybody to vote for him and for it to count, they have to fill in the oval and write his name. People are concerned if they don't put his full name, will it count? And yes, it will. It is the intent of the voter. If they put Charles Tallman, Chuck Tallman, C. Tallman, it will count because that is the intent of the voter.
And now the write-in process, because if someone's independent, they go through the petitions and they have to get 40 signatures of registered voters, but the write-in process is a little bit different.
That is correct. They just have to come in and file a declaration of intent to run for that office.
And now, like I said, there are 5 candidates in the running. So do you have any concerns with that as far as maybe there being a tie between 2 of them?
I do have a few concerns about that. Whenever you have that many people running, it really splits the votes up, and so it's not more primary for one person. And so I'm concerned that if, they're very close, that we could have a recount.
And now what can people expect to see on the ballot as they're heading out to the polls?
The state offices, the constitutional amendments, our local offices. Obviously, the only contested local race we have is our sheriff's race. And then the Proposition Safe Kids, which is our local school district, is trying to continue their bonds.
All right, well, we'll touch briefly on the other amendments when we come back. But for now, Ella, we'll go ahead and send it back to you.
Welcome back. As you know, today is Election Day and Good Morning Heartland is on the go. Samantha Croy is live with a recap of what you need to keep in mind before heading out to the polls. Good morning, Samantha.
Thanks, Ella. Once again, I'm outside the Schuyler County Courthouse, and polling locations are now open, and they will be open until about 7 this evening. Now, you want to make sure to have your voter ID, a driver's license, a utility bill with a proof of address as you're heading out. Now, the sheriff's race has gotten much attention. Is it a big item on the ballot since the removal of Josh Dole in July of this year? In lieu of the primary election, the County Democrat Committee and the County Republican Committee each selected a candidate to represent their respective party. Independent candidates submitted petitions with at least 40 registered voters' names on it. And you also want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on that amendment number 3, where teachers would be, if it would pass, it would be based on their students and how they do in their classroom. Now, that one has been a big issue as far as the campaigning goes, with sponsors dropping out and its supporters are no longer supporting. So if we go ahead and we do a recap of these amendments, we have Amendment number 3 with the teachers. We have Amendment 6 that would create a 6-day no excuses needed early voting period for general elections. Amendment 2 would allow allegations of past criminal acts to be used against those facing sex-related charges involving victims under 18 years old. And finally, we have Amendment 10 that would allow lawmakers to override a governor's decision to freeze or slow spending on items in the state budget. Once again, you want to make sure that you have your information as you're heading out to the polls. We talked a little bit earlier about what people need to do in order to make sure that they are picking the right in for the one election out there, and to make sure that it's valid, so you can put any name down there for the write-in voter. But reporting live in Schuyler County, I'm Samantha Croy, KTVO News.